And a good day to you, Explorer Nation. John Lynskey here with Season 4, Episode 19 of Looking Back with Lynskey. Two very special guests today, and I think we're looking as much forward as we are back. So I'm joined today by our esteemed president of Columbus High School, Mr. Tom Kruczek. Thank you, Tom, for being here. You're a busy man.
Thank you, John. I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to this.
And the newest member of our team from the class of 2004, Nick Ramos, who is the Vice President for Advancement. And Nick, I will say this, you have hit the ground running, my friend.
Thank you for having me. Looking forward to this conversation.
Yes, I think we all are, to find out exactly what we're doing, what we've done, and more importantly, what we're going to do. So Tom, 4 years now, before we get into where we're going, it's been quite a 4 years.
Yeah, wrapping up my fourth year now. It's been really interesting. I mean, coming on board when I did, going through what we went through, a couple of graduations at the track, thanks to Al Garcia. I mean, it's just amazing. And then Saturday we had our graduation at the University of Miami. Thursday, baccalaureate mass. It was a glorious year, and it was a great way to wrap it up.
Felt good to be back to normal.
It did. It did. Having the opportunity to do it at the track was great because everybody at that time was looking for a way to do something special, and we were able to take it way beyond special by doing what we did, again, thanks to Al and the folks at the track. But yeah, it's good to be back inside. It's good not to have to worry about the weather.
Yeah, got that right. And so, the art of advancement used to be called development. Now we call it advancement, moving forward, adelante, as we say. You were looking to expand things, and why don't you explain to everybody what you were looking for in the Vice President of Advancement, how the process went, and how we ended up hiring the right man for the job?
Absolutely, yeah, and we did absolutely hire the right man for the job. So for us, I think we do really well here at Columbus from an advancement standpoint. We're very blessed. We have an alumni base that's second to none. We have friends that are second to none. So they've been very generous to us. But we know there's more that we want to do. There's more things, not just in terms of building buildings, but there's programs, there's activities, there are things that we want to do. And we knew we needed to be a little bit further. We needed to do a little bit more in that area. And when I came on board, one of the things I talked to the board about was we need to bring on a vice president of advancement. And we fully intended that we were going to do that. And then COVID hit.
Yeah.
And so we had to put that on the back burner. But once we came out of that, we knew that that was something we wanted to do. So we put together a search committee led by J.B. Alaman, great guys on it. Mick Maspons was on it, Adrian Alfonso, Carlos Luis. We had a lot of great guys on it. And so we sent it out into the community. And we wondered what kind of a response we were going to get. We were amazed. We got so many outstanding responses. So many people wanted to do this. So many people wanted to come on to Columbus. And we had extraordinary people who applied. But at the end of the day, we found the guy that we really wanted, and that was Nick. Nick stood out above everybody else. He came in, did a great job on the interviews, and as you said, hit the ground running. I think we named Nick, I think it was in December?
Early December, yep.
Yeah, we named you in early December. He came out to the football games, he was coming out to activities, he was coming out to events, and then he started on January 9th. And when you started on January 9th, it felt like you'd been here for 3 months already at that point in time. So that was the process, John, and we're blessed to have Nick here with us.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, and we are very happy to have you here, Nick. But one thing I got to ask you, you had a very sweet gig at the University of Miami. You were established there, you were respected there. What made you want to give up a sure thing for a brand new thing, new position, never been here before? What compelled you to apply for the job?
I'm, as I mentioned to you, I'm driven by purpose. I had a great gig at UM. I was there for 14 years, fully vested. Both my kids would get free tuition when they would get to university age. But this opportunity kind of landed on my desk unexpectedly. I was at a point professionally where I felt I could be doing more, making a bigger impact. And when the opportunity was put before me and I saw what the potential that Columbus has, knowing where it came from and where it had arrived, and how much more it had to go, I was excited for the opportunity to be a part of it and kind of put my thumbprint on the legacy that you've established before me and even before you. So just excited for the opportunity and the potential that's to come and will come.
You graduated in '04, and we were a big school then, successful and everything, but it's been a quantum leap since then. What was your first impression when you walked back in and you saw, and literally you did hit the ground running? I mean, what did you think?
Wow. For lack of a better term, wow. Just seeing how far the school had come from when I was here. You know, we had A, B, C, D buildings, we had the K building, the S building, and that was pretty much it,
Yeah.
you know. And just seeing how much the campus has grown. You know, obviously the Lamonis building that we're currently in, it's just a state-of-the-art facility and a testament to some of our alumni that really believe in what we're doing. The facilities, the football field, the baseball field. You know, that football field was a parking lot when I was here. We used to park. Junior parking lot was back there, and it was a muddy mess, for lack of a better term.
Yes.
And then obviously the wellness center. That's just incredible for our student athletes and our students. So just wow, you know. But knowing that there's so much more to build for the future, not physically, although we're going to do some of that as well, but just ensuring that the institution is set up far beyond my time here, your time here, so that our grandkids and our great-grandkids can enjoy the Columbus experience.
We all stand on the shoulders of giants.
Absolutely.
Right? And I think a legacy is a very important thing at this school. And Tom, you alluded to something earlier. We had some great candidates. What made Nick stand out to you?
I think what made Nick stand out was he understood what we were trying to do here. He understood, you know, he walked the halls, as you mentioned, but he also understood, you know, the importance of developing relationships, the importance of saying thank you, the importance of reaching out and connecting with our alumni, especially those, you know, who may have been a bit disconnected with us, reaching out to the young alumni. We talked a lot about parents. You know, we want to make sure that our parents are engaged. So when we were interviewing Nick, he hit on all the points that we wanted to do and had some great ideas moving forward.
Yeah, sitting with you in the Moss conference room that day, you know when you just sense something is right? I mean, in my head, it was just check this box, check that box, check that box. And you have a very quiet confidence about you know, and I think you really have fit in. I was thinking when you first started, I'm like, man, oh man, oh man. You talk about diving into the deep end of the pool. How long did it take you to get your feet on the ground, would you say?
You know, as Tom mentioned, I the moment I was named I was officially hired, you know, I made it a point to be at as many events and meet as many people as possible, because I wanted my first day to feel like it wasn't my first day, and I think we achieved that. You know, to be totally honest, my head is still spinning a little bit. I'd be lying to you if it wasn't, right? But the more alumni that I meet with, the more I work closely with Tom, you know, we start to build out the team, and we start to plan for the future. You know, I hope my head spins a little bit less, but I hope it never stops spinning, because that's what gets me up in the morning.
Yeah, if your head's not spinning, you're not working.
Right. Right.
Tom, so many great things have happened here, but so many great things are still to come. You want to talk a little bit about where we want to take things in the next 10, 20, long after we're gone years?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things that John, that's really important to us is making sure that we have a plan going forward of where we want to go in terms of the school. So one of the things that we started in November is we did an RFP to reach out to a number of architectural firms across the United States who had a presence here in Miami, because we wanted to start on a master plan, a real master plan that says, what are we going to do in the next 30, next 40 years? And so we got a number of architectural firms responded to us. We found one that we really liked. This is Kovich Architects. They're based here in Miami. And so they started working with us in November. And so we've been working for the last few months on this process, thinking about different things, thinking about what are the sacred things that are important to us. The oak tree, for example, we said, can't touch that, okay? Yes. We talked about A, B, and C and how important those spaces are. But we also talked about the things that we want to do. I put it together a laundry list of items that we want to do. And so that's really what we're working on right now, is a master plan where we really look at the next 30 years and say the next 20 to 30 years, and we say, what do we want to do here? What are the things that we want to do? We know we need to renovate our labs, for example. That's going to be in there as well. You know, what do we need to do about the cafeteria, the gym, all those things? We need more classroom space. You know, those are the things that we want to do. Debate, you know, what can we do there? What can we do for our business program, computer science? What can we do more for robotics? And so that's the process that we're engaged in right now. We've got a lot of meetings coming up. We're working on it. But the idea is probably around the end of summer, we want to have a pretty good plan that deals with things like parking, that deals with our classrooms, that deals with our physical space, but still creates an environment that looks great, that feels great. And I think that's the most important thing for us. You know, I think, you know, we've all been to college campuses where, you know, they grow very rapidly over a period of time. The buildings don't feel like they fit together. There's no green space anymore. And that's not what I want for Columbus. I think what we want, and what the architects, you know, Jose Munoz is leading this effort as the head of our Building and Grounds Committee. He's really looking at saying, how do we create that space for the campus? It still feels good for our guys when you're walking across the campus, and it all brings together everything that we want to do. We've got a couple of projects that we're really trying to launch quickly on as well. When Marcus Lemonis gave us the gift that he did a couple of years ago, it was that we wanted to create a space for our college guidance in the Desmond Family Success Center. That's on the docket. We've got some plans for baseball that Nick can talk about, as well as wrestling as well. So those are kind of the immediate steps that we want to take. And then the master plan will really give us a framework going forward for the next 20 to 30 years about what we want to do at the campus. 'Cause I think the most important thing is you never want to build something and then look back maybe 5 years later and go, we shouldn't have put it there. And I think what we want to do, we've only got 19 acres here, a little over 19 acres. And so what we have to do is we have to maximize that space to be able to do all the things that we want to do here and give the services to our guys that they need.
You raised a great point when you started talking about, as much as we're growing, there are certain things that we will not change, because we don't want to look like a hodgepodge of buildings. A, B, and C are sacred. And I think we're doing a pretty good job of keeping the obvious Columbus traditions alive, but taking us into the next century as well. So very pleased about that. And I think our alumni are pleased about it. They come in and they look around, they go, oh man, I can't believe this, but it still feels like Columbus.
Exactly. I think, you know, we want to make sure that the environment that you guys went through, it still feels like Columbus, but there's always opportunities. You know, we did the pinning ceremony this year where we gave all of our seniors a Columbus pin. I mean, that pin is so important to us, and having the opportunity to do that, that's great. You know, we still do Beach Bash, we still got the traditions, but occasionally it's okay to add something new into the mix that just enhances the experience.
The pinning ceremony was incredibly well received. It really was. A lot of pride that night.
That was a great evening. That was a really fun evening.
Speak a little bit about the project for baseball out west there.
So very excited about baseball. You know, I'm a baseball guy. I'm a baseball coach currently. I grew up playing the game, loving the game. So it's an exciting opportunity for me to be my first capital project that I'm working on. You know, working closely with Coach Weber and Chris McKeon to kind of plan out what it is we want for our baseball program moving forward. So hitting facility, indoor hitting facility to be specific, is at the top of that list. So we're going to be erecting a fully functioning hitting facility that allows for our guys to go in there and train. Bullpens are going to be included in there as well, but also when it's a little bit rainy here in the South Florida summers, you know, it allows our team to take infield practice as well. So it's going to be multi-purpose, but very, very excited for that building. One of the other components to it is, you know, there's a visibility issue right now with baseball on the stands. So we're looking to bring those forward, raise those up, so that you get an unobstructed view no matter where you sit, and then create a little bit of an elevated experience underneath those stands also, with a suite to entertain some folks.
You know, it's interesting. We're incredibly successful now in the three major sports. Better than any high school in Florida right now. And it's great that we're bringing our facilities up to match the status of our programs.
Yeah.
And Webb's the man, and he has been for quite some time. You know, and he's made do with things. So to reward him and the players, obviously, with appropriate facilities, I think, what a great goal.
Absolutely. And I always tell Tom and I tell our alumni, we educate young men, high school students, but this is a small college, and our facilities and our programs should reflect that.
What has been the most rewarding part of your new job?
The brotherhood, the embrace of the brotherhood, which is powerful. It's palpable when I meet with people that I don't know and I meet for the first time, and just sharing that experience of walking these hallways and being part of the brotherhood. That has been the most rewarding for me, regardless of graduation year.
And what do you think has been the unexpected? Because whenever you take a new gig, there's going to be something. It's like, oh, I didn't do anything like that.
The brotherhood, how involved they are, how excited they are to be a part of what's going on campus. They want to be kept apprised of what's going on. They want information. They want to know. And I come from the University of Miami that has a really, really large alumni base, passionate about their sports. But the passion that our guys have is unlike anything I've ever seen. So while unexpected, much appreciated.
I think back to the tailgate that we had, the football tailgate, and that was, Rudy Puig had the word, it was going to be epic, and it was. Thousands of people out of there. Now, and thanks to Jose Mas for giving us the facilities that we had to be able to do that. But that was the brotherhood, and I think it was so good that you were there, to be there, to be a part of that evening, to be a part of the football game. That was brotherhood in action.
Absolutely.
There's an intensity that comes with that can be a little overwhelming at times, because our alumni take this school very seriously. In many cases, more seriously than they take wherever they went to college or university.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't kind of shake their head like, what's wrong with you people? There's nothing wrong with us. It's who we are, And I'm glad you found your way back into that.
Absolutely. It was a culture shock for my wife. She's a public school product, Killeen graduate, very proud. She knew Columbus from kind of the outside, but never really understood what it was to be a part of it. She got the full experience when I started here, and she loves it. She loves it. My kids love it. So it's been very good all around.
Great. Tom, why don't you talk about the team we're putting together here, sitting right here?
So we talked earlier that I think, that the sum of the parts is pretty amazing. And I think what we wanted to be able to do here by having you, John, more deeply involved, having Nick, having myself, what we're able to do is engage with our alumni, find those alumni that maybe have slipped away from us a little bit. But the three of us being able to work together and have those opportunities to have the conversations with guys, it's not like we're reaching out for money the first time we talk to them. It's about bringing them back, engaging with them. And that's the thing I really like that Nick and you have been talking about, is how do we get our guys engaged? How do we get our young guys engaged? The young alums, how do we bring them back? How do we find it easy for people when they say, I want to get involved again at Columbus? How do we do that? And I think, Nick's got some great plans for being able to do that. And the three of us together, there's great things on the horizon.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And the part about the younger alumni, and we all know that sometimes in the past, we wait too long.
Yeah.
The fact that you've been doing this for a long time in terms of advancement and things, you being on the edge of younger alumni.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Sure, man. And the fact that I had all you guys in class, you put those three things together. I've been very happy about how well the young alumni have responded to being involved. And I think that's been a brilliant move, because they bring a lot to the table.
Absolutely. We have a bunch of great guys, both young and a little bit more seasoned. But our young guys, they're energetic. They want to get involved. They want to give back their time. And to Tom's point, it's not always about the ask. Sometimes it's about the thank you. And we got to take those moments to thank our guys, for their time, for their effort, for their passion. And we got to find guys that want to be a part of it, want to be back, want to contribute. And we have a bunch of those, both in our young guys and our legends, as we like to call them.
which is a nice way of saying people that are old, but that's fine.
Your words, not mine.
But it's great because I hear that all the time from guys like me who go, how can I get more involved?
Yes.
What can I do? And that's magical at a school, you know, that our guys want to help out. And maybe it's their time, maybe it's their talent, whatever it is. The fact that they want to get involved, the fact that they want to help out our young alumni, the fact that they want to be involved, that's beautiful.
You know, and the buildings are the buildings. They are tremendous. They're state-of-the-art. This is a college campus in so many ways. I wish we had 50 more acres, but whatever. There's more to it than that. And to your credit, the Caring Hearts Fund that was created a few years ago, why don't you talk, Tom, how that came about and what exactly it does? Because I have people ask me about it. I've heard about this Caring Hearts Fund thing. What exactly is it? So go ahead.
So I appreciate that. So the Caring Hearts Fund is that opportunity to help our guys who need something outside of a scholarship, okay? And it started in the cafeteria. You know, my first year that I was here, I watched one of our teachers, Fred Foyle, and this young man walked up to him. They had a conversation. Fred reached into his pocket. He handed the money over. The young man walked right up and he bought lunch. I'm like, what is this? What's going on? So I talked to Fred and I said, so you do this? He says, yeah, I do it occasionally. And I said, do other people do it? And he goes, yeah, he does it, she does it. And it was like, okay, that's wonderful. I appreciate that. But we have the means to be able to reach out to our alumni base to find ways to help our young men. And the Caring Hearts Fund, it does that. We have bought tires. We have bought breakfasts. We bought lunch. We've helped our guys with various things. I think we bought a suit. We bought ties. We bought pants. Anything that will trip up a young man during his time here at Columbus and will cause him to leave us. That's what we do. And the Caring Hearts Fund, it's basically, there's three of us. All we have to do, it's either Albert Tamayo, our Vice President of Finance, David Pugh, or myself. Two of us just have to agree, and we quickly do it. It's a quick grant. It's stuff that we can do to help our guys, whatever it is. And you know, the alumni have really jumped on this, and I am so grateful to them, to all of you, for your help, because this is one of those things that and I was at graduation on Saturday, there was some kids walking across the stage that probably wouldn't have gotten there. There was one young man in particular who threw his arms around me and gave me a big hug. And he wouldn't have been able to do it if it wasn't for the Caring Hearts Fund. And I'm so grateful to all of the alumni who helped support this fund.
Yeah, it's a great cause. Have you found that enthusiasm when you go to meet with someone? How often do somebody say to you, well, I want to give, but we got enough buildings? If you run into the fact that we want to be generous just in different ways?
Yeah, I think, you know, to your point, buildings are great, stories are powerful. And people want to hear the stories of kids that are in need, how they could support, and also the success stories, you know, where there had been support, you know, what was the outcome? And I think sharing those stories is powerful. It resonates with people, and it shows that philanthropy is not just physical plant, but it's investing in people and investing in our young men. So yes, to your point, or to your question, they want to know more. They want to know about what it is their dollars are going to, their support is going to.
Investing in people.
Yeah.
That's a great line. And it's very true. And we've been very fortunate that people have stepped up and created family scholarships. There's the Fred Foyle Memorial Scholarship that, again, we're doing great things on building and grounds, and we will. But we have really seemed to drill down on the Marist mission of taking care of our kids, because not everybody here is a rich kid. That is probably the biggest misnomer about Columbus. It's a rich kid school. Yeah, we have rich kids here. We're not a rich kid school. And I think that we take care of our own very well.
And that's what we will always do here. I mean, as long as there's a Columbus, we will take care of our kids. And we never want finances to be an issue that keeps someone from being able to get a Columbus education. And that's where our alumni base steps up. The BK Adelante Fund, the Caring Hearts Fund, the named scholarships, all of those things go into allowing us to have some of those guys walk across that stage on that glorious day at the University of Miami that wouldn't have been able to do it otherwise.
It's absolutely true. So talk more about your game plan as VP of advancement. You know, now that you're here and you've been working with Tom and we've been talking a lot, what are your plans moving forward?
So the larger plan is to position the school so that it is successful far beyond any of our years here. And for me, a big point towards that is building up the endowment. So the endowment is, a collection of funds that sits in an investment account, and the principal is never touched. So when you make a gift to the endowment, that endowment will forever stay, will grow over time. But each year, a portion of that endowment, the interest that's collected, to be specific, is used for whatever purpose the donor's intention is for. So that's a big point of emphasis for me, is to grow the endowment over the next 10 to 15 years to something that is reflective of an institution of this size and this history. Ensuring that, to Tom's point, that our students that maybe are on the fringes that wouldn't have otherwise come here or cannot come here because of lack of financial resources, that's not a barrier of access to our institution, because the part of the Marist mission is ensuring that, all children, right, have access to good education and are given an opportunity. I wouldn't be here. I was one of those kids that when the first tuition payment was due, I was being called down to the office. When the second tuition payment was due, I was being called down to the office. So I'm very fortunate and very lucky to have had alumni, to lean on throughout my time here that helped throughout that process. And it's opened many doors for me, both professionally and personally. And I want to ensure that kids like me that walk through these halls have that same opportunity to come here and to graduate from here.
Very good. We've been in business 65 years now, whatever it is, which is great. Part of that, of course, is our older alumni, our age, and it seems that there's been more of a trend, and you guys can speak to this, of people leaving Columbus in their will. And I think that's something that people didn't think about for a long time, but now it's like, oh yeah, we're getting to be that age. How has that worked out thus far? Are you seeing more and more of that?
Yeah, so that was also one of my very first projects, is to make sure that the school would be able to accept estate and planned gifts, as you mentioned. We have some exciting transformational announcements to make, hopefully in the next couple weeks or month in that space. But yeah, not everybody could stroke $1 million check to Columbus, but a lot of people could leave us in their estate, and people build over time a very sizable estate, whether through investment accounts, real estate holdings, or a myriad of other things and vehicles to give back to Columbus. We are fortunate to have great guys. We're at that point now in our institutional history that our guys are getting older, and they're making life choices, and we hope that they think of us when that time comes, and we hope that they think about the experience that they had here and how to perpetuate that experience to future generations.
Your position, you've been in business, you've been an entrepreneur, you've been in education, which is perfect because schools are funny. They're educational institutions, but they're a business. And talk about trying to balance running a campus of this size with the enrollment we have and not raising tuition. And that's an ongoing struggle. And Miami's an expensive city. And it costs a fair amount of money to go to Columbus right now. We are much cheaper than any other private school, but we don't like to compare ourselves to other people in that regard either. So talk about, Tom, the challenges that come with balancing the business and the educational component.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we have to do here. And, when you have a campus like we have, a large campus with lots of buildings in it, we have to take care of maintenance. So maintenance is something that we think about all the time. We want to make sure this beautiful building that we're in right now, we've got some things that we're going to do this summer. So yeah, you have to balance that. And so for us, it's about managing our dollars effectively and making sure that we're not wasting any money. I think that's the thing that I always tell our alumni. We make sure that every dollar matters here. And so no matter what the contribution that somebody's making, we will use that money effectively here. We'll be careful with tuition. Obviously we have to increase the tuition, but we'll make sure that what we're doing here is balanced. And I think that, coming from the business world, I think that's something that works for me in this role, that I understand that, we have expenses that we have to manage, We've got revenues, we've got to balance these things out. We're a nonprofit organization. It's a challenge. It's a challenge for a nonprofit organization to be able to do this and make sure that we take care of everything as we should. But ultimately, it always comes back to the boys. It always comes back to our young men. What do we do? How do we help them? We're talking about some things right now. You know, with David and Pedro Garcia-Gonzalez and Juan Vila, we're talking about soft skills. How do we help our guys with soft skills? We were having a conversation, and David Pugh mentioned that one of the things that makes Columbus so special is we always think outside the box. We don't do just what everybody else does. I never think about we know who our competitive set is here in Miami, but I don't think about those. I think about our aspirational schools around the country. How can we be like them? How can we help our guys better? And it's all about faith, ultimately. Faith is where it starts. You know, I always like to tell parents, values, they start at the dinner table. Our job is to reinforce those values. But it is. We have a business that we have to operate, but we always think about the most important thing is our guys, our students.
Well stated. Well stated. For a long time, development, advancement was a one-person operation. Brother Kevin did it like no other.
Yeah.
We're not doing it that way anymore. So talk about the expansion of the team a little bit. Man.
Would you like to break some news here today with your new
That's
title?
up to you, bro.
Let's do it.
I think we should. I think we should. You want to talk a little bit about that? So Mr. Lynskey here is officially Ambassador Lynskey moving forward. He should be referred to as such. No, but John is taking over a new role. You know, he served in it unofficially for a number of years, and even today with the Lynskey lecture. But you'll be now Ambassador of Alumni Affairs. So you'll work with Tom and I to kind of bring in alumni and serve as a conduit for so many generations that you've educated and you've impacted, and help us kind of widen the net of guys that we've traditionally spoken with. You're helping us kind of broaden our reach a little bit. So I'm very excited and appreciative to have you working shoulder to shoulder with us, and looking forward to what's ahead. But I don't know if you kind of want to mention anything else.
I've been called a lot of things before, but ambassador, yeah, it's pretty cool. I have to admit, and it's actually a comfortable role, you know, and great pleasure comes from reaching out to guys and re-engaging guys like yourself that you remember as a certain way, and now to re-engage as grown men with careers, but still have that visceral Columbus connection. It is so gratifying. It's hard to describe how gratifying it is.
I get the biggest kick out of watching alumni come back, adults, very successful adults in the community, and they won't call you John. It's
No.
Coach Lynskey, it's Mr. Lynskey. I remember you and I, we were standing in the parking garage of this building, and we were talking with one of our guys, and he was giving literally a blow-by-blow of where does the water buffalo sleep. And I love that, because he remembered it as if it was 2 weeks ago, and it was a bunch of years ago. So that's what you bring, John, is, you know, guys remember those. They remember Ham, right?
Yes.
The space monkey. I've heard stories about the llama. You know, we've got a lot of stories there, right?
They're all true.
They're all true. But where does the water buffalo sleep? That's my favorite.
And I think that's what's so great about
Yeah.
what we do here. I was talking to one of our graduates, recent graduates today. I said, hey, man, we're both alumni now, you know? And it continues, and it continues, and it continues. And working with you, you know, is a wonderful thing, because it's a Columbus dialogue, you know? And you and Tom, you know, professionals in the field, have that dialogue. And Tom and I have our dialogue because we're close in age. So you bring all that together.
So we're not close to his age?
Not anymore.
All right, okay.
We are looking back.
Yeah, we are
there,
looking back, definitely
you
looking
know.
back.
And I think there's a perfect symmetry there, a perfect balance. And it's very enjoyable and incredibly rewarding. And I couldn't ask for more, you know.
Excited to have you. And the other team member that we just named a couple months ago is Vivian Q. She's an Alumni Relations Manager, so she'll be very external facing with our alumni. And if you have any questions or need anything from the school, she's your point of contact, and she will help you throughout the process of ensuring that not only your questions get answered, but anything that you need moving forward, that we take that into consideration as well.
Vivian has hit the ground running.
She absolutely has.
There's I think the right word is pressure. There's a certain amount of pressure when you're dealing with Columbus guys. They want answers. They want it yesterday. They really don't want to hear no. They Adelante, let's go. And it's channeling that in a positive way that I think we're really focused on. And sometimes you have to say no and make them prove why it can be yes. But to your point, outside the box, we're open to anything. How, and I haven't had a chance to speak to Vivian. How's she fitting into the Columbus world?
She loves it. She loves it. I always say if she were a man, she would have been a Columbus guy. She just has that personality. And to your point, when you're around people who have those soft skills or those qualities that make Columbus guys so special, you don't have to say certain things. It's just understood.
Yeah.
And I think you and I have something similar. In my interview, we had a conversation, but there was another conversation that was happening without words having to be said. And when I sit down with guys that graduated from here, and Vivian understands that well as well, it's just there's a certain way about us, and there's a certain way that we like to approach things. We don't like hearing no. We like to think out of the box. And we're hoping to kind of service all that. That not having to say no, but let's come up with something that's beneficial for you, but also for the school.
And we're very fortunate. I just thought of this. So many women here play vital roles in an all-male environment, and that takes a very special person to do that. They may not understand our culture, but they say, okay, it is what it is, and they find a way to work with it. And we're very blessed with a lot of the women we have.
And I think that's one of the things that's great. When I look at the people who work here at the school, seeing the women that work here, it creates a balance here. And I think the mothers, when they come for the mother's luncheon that Mike Marinelli does every year, but actually we're doing it twice a year now, I think they sense that from us. That, as we like to say, there's a lot of testosterone bouncing around these halls.
Yeah.
But the women who work here really give a great balance to what we do.
And when we talk about the brotherhood, it's not just about the guys that walk these halls. The brotherhoods are the teachers that are here, the ladies who work the front desk, the moms, right, that make these boys into men at home. The brotherhood is more than just the guys. It's not a guys club. It's a component of it, but the brotherhood is a lot more all-encompassing and a lot larger, and it consists of a lot of individuals.
There's a sisterhood in the brotherhood.
Absolutely.
And I think it's important to change with the times.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was here, obviously there were very, very, very few women on campus. 20 years ago when you were here, there were more, but not nearly as many as we have now. And somehow, some way, in true Columbus fashion, we keep our male identity, but I think more than ever, the role of women for our young men has become very important, because a lot of them don't have a great home life in some cases. They don't have a mom. Their moms are here.
Agreed.
So, if we were to sum up the last 4 years, and looking ahead the next 4, the next 8, the next 12, where do you think we're at, Tom?
So we're in a great spot right now. I think in terms of the number of young men that are here, the places that they went to school, that they got into college, the amount of scholarships that they got this year. This was a crazy good year. This was a really good year. So I think, we've come to a great point right now, but now it's a matter of looking forward and going, where can we go in the future? And we've got some great plans, some things that we're talking about right now, things that are going to be in that master plan. It's going to be amazing. So the thing I always tell everybody, I say, just wait. Just wait to see what we've got next.
Just wait. Nick, again, you gave up a sweet gig. Any regrets whatsoever?
Zero.
Great.
I'll let you know when I have to pay for college how I feel, but no, zero regrets. It's been an incredible experience, and if I could just leave a message with the alumni base, anything we do moving forward, whether it's the master plan, whether it's our events, whether it's giving back to the school, we're doing it for the brotherhood, and that's the most important thing that I want it to resonate with everyone is everything that you do, that Tom does, that all the Marist educators here, the staff, the administrators, it's for the brotherhood. And we hope for everyone to be a part of that, both alumni and non-alumni.
I'll tell you what I'm looking forward to. It's taking this show on the road, okay? Because we will be coming to a town where you're at.
Near you, right?
Yes, near you. We will be there. And I think there's great opportunity across this country.
Yes.
We have prominent alumni in cities all across America, and I can't wait to go visit them. I'll be here more often, stepping back some of my responsibilities at the museum, because as I told Tom, my heart belongs to the Allman Brothers, but my soul belongs to Columbus. So this is a great way to do it. I did not ever envision this point of my life, but man, it's working out very well. I'm very happy. I love working with you guys. Clearly, I love this place, and the best is yet to come.
Absolutely. We're going to have a lot of fun together, John. We're going to have a lot of fun, the three of us.
Yeah. Feeling is mutual.
We'll teach you a few things, man.
I hope so. I hope so.
So, on behalf of President Kruczek, on behalf of Vice President for Advancement, Nick Ramos, this has been great. Explore Nation. Listen, we got plans, okay? Can't tell you everything yet, but we got plans. The best is yet to come, and it's been a real pleasure to sit down with these two gentlemen. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you, Tom.
You bet, John. Thank you.
Thank you, Nick.
Thank you, John. Pleasure.
And until next time, Explore Nation, this has been Buenos Tiempos and Adelante.